Manchester United's young stars are shining. We talked earlier on today also about Manchester United now looking to look after our young players as well and giving them the right amount of rest time and recovery mentally and physically. But United are also not stopping off the field either. Interesting updates on Manchester United's possible targets for maybe January and summer coming up, with more young prospects being looked at in the transfer market. A clear pathway for how Manchester United are operating going forward. We've got injury updates on Rasmus Hojlund and Mason Mount, as well as an update on Antony's situation and what Newcastle are saying about him. Not looking good for a move there if you're going off reports from today. This is Forever United TV. I'm Adam. This is your evening update. Hello everybody, welcome to the show. Hope you're doing fantastically well. Hope you're still buzzing after Manchester United. Yes, we scored 7 goals last night. I'm going to keep saying it. I know it's only Barnsley. I don't care. We're still going to take that 7-0 win and be happy about it the next day. So yeah, you try and stop us. But we've got plenty to talk about in terms of Manchester United off the field, as well as what's happening on it. We'll get into all them subjects. We're getting your messages and comments in the live section as well. So make sure that you do get your comments in live. And also, when the video is finished, make sure that you do get your comments in the comments section on all topics we discussed tonight amongst everybody involved in the show, because there is loads of people there waiting to give their say, and we're going to get into that straight away. Please do give the video a like first of all, and make sure if you haven't already, you've subscribed and you're ready to go with all of your Manchester United comments waiting, and really just waiting to get your opinion heard, because that's what we do on Forever United TV. Welcome everyone. Let's get into what's actually going on and where are these stories coming from that I have brought up and we are talking about right now. Well, we all know that Ineos's idea is to create and sort of develop their own younger players. That doesn't mean that we are not actually looking in the market for any more players. We are specifically looking in the market for younger, talented players. Now, there was a young lad on the right-hand side of Southampton's attack at weekend who was terrorising Diogo Dalot, absolutely tearing him a new one. Tyler Dibling, yes, a name that isn't familiar with a lot of Manchester United fans, or maybe even the Premier League fans, until Southampton came up. One shining light from Southampton's performance was the young right winger, and he did absolutely tear Dalot apart in that game, to a point where Dalot actually gave the penalty away, which could have turned the game on its head. It did, in fact, because we saved the penalty and then went on to win the game from there. So it did turn the game on its head, but in United's favour, the opposite way to what Southampton were hoping. But there are reports that Manchester United are very interested in Dibling and bringing him to Manchester United after this season. Now, Southampton fought off a lot of people and clubs for his signature in the previous window, i.e. the summer just gone. In that transfer window when it slammed shut, they were very happy that they managed to keep hold of him. The problem that he's got, and the problem that Southampton have got, is that he's only contracted until 2026. Now, I know what you're thinking, Southampton, they look doomed. Let's be honest, they look pretty poor, don't they? And there is a very good chance that they will be going straight back down. They are trying to tie Dibling down to a new contract, but there are other clubs sniffing around Dibling right now, including Manchester United. One in particular member of United directors is the important one, the director of football, Dan Ashworth. Has been trying to buy him before, or was trying to buy him for Newcastle when he was the sporting director there up in the northeast. And now Sibley is looking at the prospect of getting a renewal at Southampton, or actually looking at other clubs. And after this season, he's got 1 year left. Whether or not he signs a new deal, whether or not Southampton stay in the league, they are going to struggle to keep hold of him. If Southampton end up going down, United could find themselves looking at a bargain here. Is he good enough for Manchester United? I think we'll wait and see to see what actually happens through the rest of this season, how he performs, how he adapts fully to the Premier League, because the first few games, you can get a bit carried away. Look, there are a lot of good noises coming out about Dibling and what's actually, what the player's qualities are and what he can actually bring to the Premier League. And he is seen as one of the players that probably could help Southampton survive in the Premier League. Can't do it all on his own, and you cannot do it as a one-man band. The rest of their team, honestly, Brennan Diaz, he's limited. I just don't see how they survive. I think United are looking at this deal possibly just to secure another young, talented player in and have him available when the next season comes around. And I feel like this is how Manchester United are going to operate right now. They're just going to stack out the academy. They're going to stack out the youth team and having the best quality young players available to develop and bring through this football structure and pathway that we're building at Manchester United right now. So that is the update on Dibling. I'm going to get into the other player that Manchester United are looking at as well, who is a young, well, he's another young Croatian player. And this player has been told, and we're hearing noises from Luka Modric. He's Croatian and obviously plays at Zagreb in the Croatian league. His name, I'll just have to get it up again now because I forgot it. Yeah, Baturina is his name. Another young player, playmaker, plays in the number 10 central midfield role, 8/10, in that kind of a playmaking, attacking midfielder. Earmarked as the next best thing coming out of Croatia. In fact, Luka Modric has told Real Madrid to be all over this player and be ready to go. His contract situation, obviously, is different. He's now contracted until 2028, but a player that Manchester United are actively looking at because of, well, no disrespect, it's the Croatia sort of side of things, and that league isn't going to be able to hold on to any significant talent when you've got big guns like Madrid and Man United knocking on the door. So, yeah, he has been worded out by Luka Modric. Madrid have been told by Luka Modric that he is a player that they need to be getting hold of. United are very interested in him as well. And again, we are just looking at the players that could develop into them next world-beating stars. And Manchester United doing all of the groundwork and getting everything in preparation for the new coming season, wanting to not have to go out and do loads of mega business, I feel, Manchester United next summer. And it's obviously in season, we're not going to be bringing anyone else in right now, but interesting just to keep a touch and keep afloat of all of the news that's actually going down behind the scenes right now and looking how Manchester United are looking to operate. In other news regarding transfers and what's going on behind the scenes, just to update everyone on like what's happening with everything that's within the football structure and what might come about maybe January or in the summer, and we'll touch on it more then. I just wanted to do a quick roundup right at the start of this video. Karim Adeyemi from Borussia Dortmund is a player that Manchester United are interested in as well. Looking to bolster their wide options, which kind of tells you that there will be changes come the summer. Maybe Antony is the player that is going to be let go. That's the news that we've sort of known about for a while. I don't think anyone at Manchester United sees Antony as the long-term option at the football club. So, really, he would be the mate weight. Adeyemi is another player that Manchester United know well because of, yes, Christopher Vivel, because he was the one who brought him through to the Red Bull Group in Salzburg first of all, and then he, instead of going down the pathway of going through Salzburg into Leipzig, he was that good in Salzburg and his numbers were that off the scale, ended up going straight out to Borussia Dortmund, as we know quite a few of the Red Bull Group players do. Hojlund being another one of them. But Adeyemi is definitely a player that would like to move on. He's contracted for 2027, so at the end of the season he'll have 2 more years left. You're into the realms of renegotiating a contract or you're looking to make a move. The pathway for the players from the Red Bull Group is Dortmund and then move on after a couple of seasons. We've seen it with a few players now. And Adeyemi is the next one. You guys let me know in the chat if you think he is a good player. Is he better than Antony? I would say yes. I think a lot of people would. But Manchester United have big links with Dortmund, obviously, already. We've done business with Dortmund quite a lot. And obviously, we've got the link with Christopher Vivel now, who knows Adeyemi very, very well and would be a big advantage for Manchester United if we wanted to bring him into the football club. But that pretty much sums up your transfer dealings and what's going on behind the scenes. We have plenty more to talk about regarding Manchester United, which we're going to get into now. I'm just going to come to the chat quickly to give you guys your chance to have your say on all of that transfer news that we've just been talking about there. Let's just see. I was worried about Agate grabbing his ankle, but he's fine. No injuries going into the game here. Not what I would really cool. It's a big one. I don't know what that's about. A random chat going on right now. The community's having its own conversation. So, yeah, obviously none of you are that bothered about the transfers then. So, get your comments in below later on if you're happy to talk about the transfer situation and everything that's going on there. Let me know on them names. Obviously, Dibling being one of the main ones and having just beaten beating Delo in the first 35 minutes anyway in that game. Let me know what you think about him and get your comments in after the video's finished. Give the video a like, everyone. We're just creeping up to that 100 like mark, around 400 in the room, just coming up to 10 minutes. Keep sharing the video, keep liking the video, please, everyone. It helps the channel. Make sure you've subscribed to Forever United TV as well. Everything helps the channel grow, and obviously I am very appreciative of it and all of the support that comes with it. We got a couple of memberships to talk about. One's gone to Henry Long, gifted by London, and another one has gone to Guess, our moderator. Guess, welcome back to the members club as well. Guess, that gifted again by London. Thank you very much. Keep liking the video, and like I said, hit the subscribe button as well. Don't miss out on any of the content coming up. We covered Mainu and his injury situation, or possible injury situation, and players being looked after now and game time managed earlier on today. We had the early morning show where we was talking about the headache for Ten Hag going into this weekend. I did allude to a possible headache in terms of other players coming back as well, not just the positives that were last night and changing 8 players. And pretty much apart from Collier, them being 8 first-team players that came into Manchester United, you could argue Bayindir maybe as the goalkeeper, not being of the first-team sort of category of player anyway. But still, very positive that we can make that many changes. Very positive that we made that many changes, and they were mainly all first-team players. And you look at what the options Ten Hag has got now going into the weekend against Crystal Palace. Full preparation. I did mention other players coming back this weekend as well and being available. And 2 of them players have been announced, as you can see going across the bottom of your screen there. I've been playing with the first team, training with the first team today, and that is Messrs Mason Mount and Rasmus Hojlund. So they are back. We're going to touch on them in a minute, but the other news that I wanted to get into, because Antony had a game last night. Yes, he did. He played. He started. He played. He scored. So he hasn't stopped the criticism coming his way, though. Obviously, I think there's a piece on Simon Jordan was doing this morning talking about Antony and him not being good enough. But Antony to Newcastle was doing the rounds quite a bit over the last couple of weeks, saying Eddie Howe seen him as a possible Newcastle player going into maybe the January transfer window, and he likes him. 40 million? Yeah, we knew at the time that was a load of bull, but still, Antony has attracted attention from clubs to loan him out. But Paul Robinson, talking to Football Insider from Newcastle, has said on Antony, no, I don't think anybody at Newcastle would touch him. Listen, there's a good player in there, but he's too lightweight for the Premier League. He takes too much time on the ball, and it's a league that's too quick for him. That's straight. That's telling you straight. The former Premier League goalkeeper added, but you look at the way he struggled at Manchester United, Newcastle will look at themselves on a level with Manchester United. They're competing for the same things, European football. They both want to be in the top 4. That's the type of level that they're on now. The Newcastle fans, nor the board, will look at Antony and go, that's going to improve us anyway. And that's the sort of word on Antony. It's going to take a long time for people to be convinced that Antony is any sort of player at all. And I don't think he's going to get the opportunity to actually prove that he is a good player. Like, we have these games like Barnsley, and we talked about it before the game. Antony needs to make his mark. He needs to do whatever he possibly can to convince Ten Hag that he is the man. He is the player that he can rely on. And I talked it up like Antony having a good game last night. Maybe if he comes on against Crystal Palace at the weekend, he could get a good 20-30 minutes, and he's more invested into coming on and giving absolutely everything because he sees that there is an opportunity there. He sees there's an opportunity to actually make it into the side. This is a side that is now stacked, absolutely stacked with players in form and players coming back from injury. Antony, I feel, he's going to struggle to get in ahead of who's there already. Like, we're talking between Xerxes, Rashford, Ahmad and Garnacho early this morning. Which one of these players is going to drop out? Because one of them is not going to make that starting lineup against Crystal Palace at weekend. And they're all in form. It's a great situation to be in for Manchester United. All them players being in form is fantastic. But still, you've got to look at how Ten Hag balances it out. And you add Rasmus Hojlund now to the scene because Rasmus is back in training today with Manchester United, back with the first team. We've seen the training videos. We've seen him in the gym. We've seen him training on the grass on his own. We've seen him getting back to fitness. He's now fit enough to train with the first team squad. He's there today and is full bore in there with the rest of the squad. No issues. He's going to be available for selection come the weekend. It's fantastic news for Manchester United. Not Antony and not them other 4 players that I spoke about. More competition for places. It's great for us, but these players now need to step up. They really do need to step up, and I think every single one of them is doing, which is why it's going to be difficult for Ten Hag. But yeah, Rasmus Hojlund and Mason Mount. Now, I made a big thing about Mason Mount. I think it was it yesterday morning? Yeah, I think it was yesterday morning we did a show on Mason Mount, and we was talking about how he is that player that is going to convince Ten Hag to rotate. He could be that one player that convinces Ten Hag to play a different style. Now, obviously, we're seeing Ten Hag changing things up already this season, which is fantastic. It is really good to see the fact that we're seeing different players playing slightly different shapes here and there, and we are playing a little bit of better football with it. It will naturally come if you get a consistent side, obviously. We've talked about Ten Hag needing to find over the next few weeks his best starting 11, and he needs to know who that is. And then work around that with changing 1 or 2 players here and there, maybe 3 or 4 players when needing rested, with all of the games coming up. And Mason Mount falls into that category. Like, we all doom and gloomed Mason Mount. As soon as we found out he was injured again, it was full on doom and gloom, and he has got to go. Like, we've got to move past him. He has to be sold. It's just a waste of time even relying on Mason Mount right now. Well, he's back sooner and has given us a massive boost alongside Rasmus Hojlund. 2 more players that can easily slot into that front 4 that Manchester United operate with. The options are endless for Ten Hag right now. The biggest news for me is having Rasmus Hojlund back and another number 9 option. Like, we're actually discussing this morning whether we think Marcus Rashford might be deployed as the number 9 again going into the game at Crystal Palace because of what he did against Barnsley. Will Ten Hag go with it? Will he have the bottle to drop one of these players? Because they're all going to be knocking on the door saying, what more do you want me to do, boss? Marcus Rashford is going to play a couple of games in a row. Ahmad's saying, well, I dropped out of this one. Should I now be being brought back in because he's had his 2 games? Do I not get mine now? This is where Ahmad, Garnacho and all these players are at. It was a great stat that came up before. Garnacho has scored more goals in the last week than Jadon Sancho has in the last year. So, yeah, I think we definitely made the right decision there. Now, you can say that Jadon Sancho wasn't playing a lot and whatever you want, but still, it goes to show, like, we have players there in front of Jadon Sancho, and we couldn't keep hold of Jadon Sancho no matter what. It wasn't worth fighting for. He wasn't in form enough for me to fight for him, to try and keep him at the club. He clearly didn't want to be here, and now we're seeing the rewards of that big decision, because it was a tough decision to sell to Chelsea. Whether you like it or not, United would have loved to have just sold him to Juventus. But still, like, to go to Chelsea and Manchester United now seeing Ahmad and Garnacho prosper and come through. Rashford's got over his issue with Jadon Sancho not being around, it seems, and has found form. You've got Rasmus coming back, Xerxes finding his feet, Bruno learning off the bench and coming back in and doing his bit, and more players coming back into that front line for Manchester United to give us more options. It can't. Again, I'll go with it. It's like, I cannot stress how important that last international break was and how important it was for United to get through with no injuries and then get off to a good start. This last 2 weeks couldn't have gone any better for Ten Hag and this team. And now we're hoping that we can sort of reap the rewards of the right international break. Agate getting the right amount of game time, had his cameo against Southampton, started against Barnsley, now fully fit and ready to be integrated fully and start every single important game for Manchester United. And I stress important game because there are games where you're going to have to rest him as well and rotate. You've got enough there to handle situations in the Europa League when it's a lesser opposition, Carabao Cup, whoever we get next week's draw for the 4th round. All of that now needs to be managed properly by Ten Hag, and we have got the perfect squad to handle all of it. So, yes, I'm completely confident, but that news today, we knew it was coming. Rasmus Hojlund and Mason Mount both being back in the squad in training was everything we knew was coming. Luke Shaw would probably be a week after. Obviously, Lenny Yoro is a couple of weeks. We're expecting Lenny Yoro to be back after the next international break. So we may see Lenny Yoro next month, which is huge. And Malacia, exactly the same. we could see Malacia and Lenny Yoro, 2 more defensive options coming in for Manchester United next month, which is huge. If Mason Mount stays fit, if Rasmus Hojlund can stay fit, and there is absolutely no reason why them 2 players don't stay fit, if Ten Hag rotates like he is doing and like he's shown this week that he can do, then everybody can get the right amount of rest time. It's like I made a point this morning, it went under the radar of Mainu and Martinez both being nowhere near that side. 2 players that probably you would argue have played a lot of games over the summer and definitely deserve their rest. We made a piece and a video on Kobbie Mainoo earlier on, so when this video is finished, make sure you do go over and watch that video earlier on. We've had loads of comments on that one, how Manchester United are now looking after the younger players and making sure that we give them the best opportunity to develop and make the most of that pathway that this new recruitment setup at United is creating at the football club. So go and watch that one back as well and make sure that you give me your input on that, everybody. Please give the video a like. We've got loads of people in the room. We're creeping up to the 600 mark and we're creeping up to 150 likes. Let's get over 200 live likes, everyone. Keep liking the video, share the video. Make sure you have subscribed. I can see plenty of people already have in this stream alone, so thank you and welcome new subscribers. If you are a subscriber, you can get into the poll, which is in the live chat right now. How many goals will Rasmus score for United this season? We have 4 options for you. 1 to 7, 8 to 13, 14 to 20, and 20 plus goals. 9% of you reckon Rasmus Hojlund is bagging 20 plus goals this season. That is mental, considering what competition is in front of him. But I'm happy. I like the fact that people are confident that Rasmus is going to bag that many goals. But 54% of you that's just gone up now actually believe that he'll get between 14 and 20 goals. Can we get into the chat? Yes, we can. We're going into the chat now to find out why most of you feel like Rasmus is going to score that many goals. Is it because of the rotation system? Is it because he's fresher? Have Manchester United now got a system that's working? Have we found our wingers finally? We'll see. It's going to take a lot more than Southampton and Barnsley to convince a lot of Manchester United fans that we've cracked it yet. And Ten Hag himself said he wasn't devastated when we lost 3-0 to Liverpool. And he's not going to celebrate for beating Barnsley 7-0. Like, he knows that United took advantage of a poor side yesterday. And we did our job and we did it exceptionally well. Move on to the next game. Barnsley's gone. It's time to start looking at Crystal Palace. And he knows that. And the news about having players back in training is massive for Manchester United. Let's get into the chat anyway. I think temporary left-back and a press-resistant 8 to keep Mainoo fresh would have been quite an asset for this team. It's a question. I said it earlier on, and a lot of people cannot get to the early show in the morning. What about Bruno Fernandes dropping in and rotating with Mainoo and then playing Mount or Xerxes in the 10 with the other front 3 players? There's an option there, isn't there? Bruno can play 8. If you want to rest Mainoo, let him integrate. Let integrate Bruno between 10 and 8 with Mason Mount and Xerxes. And Bruno can play that 8 role. You've also got Ericsson there who can do a role as well for you. Then you've got Casemiro, Agate, Collier to help out in that holding midfield role at 6. There's options all over the place. Let me know what you think about that one. Antony Wisdom has been a member for 10 months. He's just renewed his membership. Legend. Thank you, mate. Love all the content. Number 1 United community. Congrats. Thank you, Antony. Love that. Make sure everybody in the chat gives the video a like and make sure that you do subscribe if you haven't already. That helps us grow even more, so please do get to it. Anthony ONG has also renewed his membership. 29 months a member. Good news week 21. Here we come. Delusional. Yeah, mate, you dream, Ant, and you're welcome to it. I like the positivity. Keep it coming. Guess says, I have a feeling Rashford will score more, but who knows? I wrote Rasmus first. Gary Burton says, what's going on with Shaw? I thought he was available after the international break. He is, according to Ten Hag, progressing well. We may see Luke Shaw back in first team training next week. Is the words that I'm hearing. No one is putting any sort of game or any time scale on Luke Shaw at the moment. No one's committing to it. You'd be crazy to commit to giving a comeback date to Luke Shaw, wouldn't you? You wouldn't put your reputation on the line into saying and guessing if you think Luke Shaw's going to be back on a certain date. I think United's medical team definitely balls that up last season, and they're going to learn from them mistakes. They definitely will. Amir says, the best team ever in the whole world and some parts in heaven. I love Manchester United. Amir's a happy man right now. Adam Gelman in the chat as well. Welcome, Adam. Hope you're well, mate. Adam, we are very weak on the wings. I don't count Antony, so only 3. Need to talk about that. I think I just did, really, Adam, in terms of United actually going in for another winger. Like Dibling, we just talked about there. We've obviously talked about Antony from Dortmund. Manchester United actively looking for wingers. Obviously, they have quality wingers coming through the ranks. Let's not forget about Lascelles, who's just come through from Crystal Palace, the Slovakian winger, who is only just, I think he's only just turned 17. I think I'm right in thinking that. He's just had his birthday, and he could come through as well. So we have got a lot of development coming through, and by the end of this season, these players would have had another year under the belts, and we could have some more development in our academy players as well. So really, we've got to look at what's coming through, what we've got in the academy, and then maybe dip into that market. I think winger will be one of the positions that United do go for, because I 100% feel that Antony will be flirted. He will be gone in the summer. So let's just see what happens with that. But to answer that question, Adam, I think it is something that the club do realise, and with both Palestri and Sancho being moved out this summer, and obviously we're going to be moving Antony on as well in the summer. I can't see him lasting. I really can't see how he stays. Then we're looking at bringing in I think another midfielder, left back, centre back, and a winger. I think that's where United's priorities are lying. You could even say a number 9 again. But I said before, we have got young players coming through. You've got Wheatley behind him, Obi Martin. Obviously, we've still got players out on loan at Manchester United as well, like Hojlund still out on loan. There's loads to look forward to at Manchester United. Obviously, the next part of the restructure is going to be coming in the summer, and that's why I wanted to touch on what Dan Ashworth and the plan is at Manchester United. And if you have just joined us earlier on, we did touch up at the start of the show, Manchester United in for another couple of youngsters in preparation for the next summer transfer window. Saints winger Tyler Dibling, who tore Diogo Dalot a new one at weekend, and Martin Baturing from Zagreb, the Croatian wonder kid that's coming through, whom Luka Modric himself has said is the next best thing. And Manchester United, according to reports as well, are also interested in Karim Adeyemi from Borussia Dortmund as well. All of them players affordable and gettable for Manchester United, it's been reported. And obviously we have ties. Dan Ashworth has tried to get Dibling before with Newcastle, and we know that Adeyemi is definitely in touch and is known well by Christopher Vivel, our recruitment director. So you've got to look at that as a possibility. United not staying still, and preparations for the new summer transfer window are already well and truly underway. I was hoping Mount would be able to play in the 10 during the Cup and non-EPL games. If he's hurt, that will never happen. No, I know you got Roz. It's a shame that he isn't available. Gary says, all injured players are ahead of time and are all competing to get in the side. It feels like, I've said this earlier on today, and you cannot ignore the fact that these players all look like they are fighting to get back into this Manchester United side now. And that's crucial, I feel. That's crucial that we've got players chomping at the bit. Whereas before, you'd be like players, like you'd feel like as a United fan, like players were actually like just nursing this injury. Like, and I mean by nursing it, I mean like they were just letting it just play out as long as possible. And it's never helped Manchester United at all. When we've had injured players, we've always had that type of player that would just be out forever and a day. It doesn't seem to be that. There seems to be a different vibe, doesn't there? Right now, there seems to be a different sort of aura around Manchester United in terms of the team and how everyone feels like they've actually got a chance. It does seem like things have changed up a bit. And you could say that I'm just getting ahead of myself and getting excited because we scored 10 goals in 2 weeks. In a week. Like, it's crazy. Like, just to say that on the Ten Hag, I've never said that. I never even thought I would be able to say that. But they're the truths. Like, on the Ten Hag, we have scored 10 goals in the last 2 games. And you can get carried away a little bit. I've got my feet firmly on the ground, and I know what's ahead of us this weekend. It's going to be nothing like what we've just played in the last 2 games. We have got a tough old game coming up against Palace on Saturday evening, and I'm fully prepared for either way of it going, because it can still go either way. I'm just hoping United have just latched onto this little bit of momentum that's going on right now, and they push forward with it full steam. Into more of your chat. 20 plus, come on. He scored 10 Prem goals last season. People getting carried away. He scored 16 in all competitions. He is capable, Rasmus Hojlund. Dill says, Adam, considering how well Xerxes is playing in terms of linking play, do you prefer Hojlund or Xerxes to start? I'd like to see both play. I'd like to see them in behind each other. Personally, with Hojlund in the 9 and Xerxes in the 10. Jonathan says, I think some might have got confused. Did they think it was appearances, not goals? Ooh, Jonathan, that's a harsh one. That is a harsh one from you. He's still not having them goals coming from Manchester United. I've got gifted memberships to announce. Just going to get through them. Gifted by our long-serving member, Antony ONG. Gifted to Staffo, to Karsten, to Slim Report, Glenn C, and Phil Sheridan. Welcome to the Members Club, my friends. Please give a big thank you to Antony in the chat. We are talking everything Manchester United. We just talked about possible young forwards that could be coming in the summer. Manchester United may be active in January. United are looking after the younger players now. There's lots of news and reports coming about how Manchester United are actually looking to monitor the game time of younger players. I did a video on Kobe Manu earlier on. If you haven't watched that, when this video is finished, please do jump across and go and give that one a watch, because it is important that we do look after these players and not overplay them, because a lot of the injuries that we're talking about with players coming back now is exciting, but it's all stems and all come from Manchester United actually giving these players too much game time. And that is really where the problem has been. Like, overplaying players is the issue right now. Can Xerxes and Hojlund work together at Manchester United? I think they can, and I think they need to be given a chance to, Amir. Definitely. United are stacking up. Yes, they are, Bexer. I heard its real name is Norman, and he's a Forest fan. Oh, I wonder who you're talking about there, Lohan. Lonan, sorry. Gary says, it seems like we've actually got a squad that want to be on the pitch. The mentality shift in the short time is exciting. Let's see if it continues. I mean, look, we've got to just look at, like, things can obviously go Pete Tong. They can start going downhill again. A couple of results and the negative vibes start to creep in again, don't they? So, really, we just got to take every single positive that we can and just run with it, and hopefully these players latch onto it, and hopefully we can actually see Manchester United prosper from it with this new look. Babs is in the chat, still buzzing from last night. We had a team at last. Wouldn't it be great if we could maintain this? It would be fantastic if we maintained it. It would. Perfect. Garnacho and Rashford, sensational, says Amir. Kieran says, guys, hit the like and Kaz will bake a cake if she wins. Oh, I don't know. What's the bet? What's the like bet? I've missed out on that one. I don't know how many likes we're going to get, but please do keep liking it. Make sure you share it. Get your comments in. Mount's Fitness should be made. Should make it very interesting. Erik ten Hag's favouritism style is going to be exposed big time. Erik ten Hag should get away with playing Eriksen out of position. He shouldn't get away with playing Eriksen out of position, he says. For vibes alone, I think Ruud is a massive influence. 100%. We said this all along. When Ruud came in, what impact would he make? What would he bring to Manchester United? He would bring experience of being at Manchester United, know-how about what the club is, how difficult it is to survive at Manchester United, what it takes to be a Manchester United player, the vast experience of scoring goals at the highest level and helping out our young forwards, because every single one of them is a young forward at Manchester United now. So all of that know-how and experience is massive. And I just feel like we are going to start seeing an influence on the pitch sooner rather than later with Ruud. Some would say we're seeing it now, but the finishing has been good. And a lot of our young players are getting the goals that they deserve now. So, really, when you look at it, it is all positives right now. But again, it comes down to consistency. It comes down to that continuity and that link-up, that camaraderie, the connections on the pitch, the like the players linking up together and believing in each other is something that we've just not seen. How many times have we seen Bruno and Rashford flapping their hands around in the air because someone's not played the right pass? These are the senior figures at Manchester United, and maybe getting them on board and changing their sort of mindset to this team is how Manchester United actually get over the slump that we're actually in, or was in, you could say, because now it looked like we might have turned the corner a little bit. But Bruno Fernandes off the bench was nice to see. Mix up and a different sort of look on things, and Ten Hag actually sticking to his word and changing things up and giving people a chance. As bad news just broke out for Arsenal, actually, which is on Martin Odegaard. His injury is serious and he will be out for a while, Arteta says. That's his press conference there. And really, Arsenal are an example to Manchester United and how we can actually progress going forward. Trusting in a system. I know it's hard to look at Ten Hag's system and trust it right now. Very difficult, in fact, to trust Ten Hag's system because it's going to need consistency like Arteta has at Arsenal. I think Arteta now is going to be tested even more because big players being out injured is something that he really didn't have to deal with that much last season. So, still, Manchester United looking across there and believing in a young side at Arsenal and what they have and what they have built is the way that Manchester United need to be looking at things now, I feel. And I think we will. I think we will look at this and use it as an opportunity now, Manchester United, to, with everybody fit, give everyone the right chance and say to the players, look, if you're not performing, there's plenty of other players here lined up, ready to go, and they will take the opportunity. I think this is the message. If Ten Hag has managed to get this across with his staff, whether it be Van Nistelrooy, a combination of him and Hack, and everyone else together, just saying, look, if you don't hit the mark, there's someone else coming in. Play like this is your last chance. Play like this is your last chance to be in a Manchester United shirt because someone's going to take it away if you fall off by any margin. That's it. You're out. That's how it has to be. United players know that there's competition for places. That used to be the mindset. And this is where Ruud van Nistelrooy comes into his own. It's like, what, you expect to play even if you don't perform? You need to be in this mark and that, and that's your target. If you don't, out the door. Well, not out the door, but get back on the bench and have a watch of the player who's coming in and replacing you, and he's hitting them numbers. If he doesn't, then you've got your second chance. But you know what will happen? It'll be the same as what happened the first time. You've got to hit the mark. Van Nistelrooy knows, he had strikers all over him. He had players coming through. Let's not forget who was around when Van Nistelrooy was playing at Manchester United. He's had to deal with Andy Cole, Dwight York, Wayne Rooney, Cristiano Ronaldo. All of these types of players coming in to Manchester United and trying to take his position away. And he stood his own. He held his own, and he's turned out to be one of the most prolific strikers in Premier League history in terms of goals to games played. And you've got to give massive credit to Van Nistelrooy, and hopefully his influence will be huge in that dressing room, because if they are looking up to him, that's the type of character and the type of player that you want these young forwards to be looking at and going, he's been here, he's done it, he's got the medals, he's got the biggest trophies, and if there's anybody we're going to actually listen to, it's this guy right here. Van Nistelrooy is massive for Ten Hag this season. Absolutely huge. And he could be the difference. He really could. You got Rose in with a super chat. Don't mean to stop the conversation in its tracks, but I was curious how many away stadiums you have seen, Adam, in. I would love to make a trip to the UK and see a few stadiums one day. By all means, mate, get over to these stadiums. In terms of the stadiums in the Premier League right now, every single away ground in the Premier League right now I have been to. So yes, everyone in this league, I have been to their stadiums. I'm pretty certain I have. I'm just thinking about who's come up. So it was Leicester, it was Southampton, and it was... Who else came up? No, Ipswich. No, sorry. The only one I've not been to is Portman Road. It's Ipswich. That's it. That's the only one I've not been to answer that. Thanks for the super chat on that, buddy. I disagree. In my honest opinion, Rashford was negatively influenced by Bruno's popularity and became selfish, trying to become the main man. Rashford needs to drop the ego, use Van Nistelrooy, and make that number 9 his own. Fair enough. Rashford would definitely undermine Ten Hag for his mate Sancho when he was around. Garnacho seems conflicted by his love for Ronaldo, who doesn't rate the manager. Garnacho understands his position. I'm not worried about his love for Ronaldo or anything like that. He's our leading goal scorer this season now, Garnacho. Who'd have thought that? Who'd have thought that come a few games in? With him not starting many games. But we're there, and this is the situation we're in now. Garnacho is pulling up trees. Once again, I just want to quickly say thank you, everybody. Your support has been absolutely huge. It's helping the channel loads. I know content changes through a season, but I'm loving all of your comments on my opinions on the games and things like that. It is a massive debate, and we are mixing up the content going into next week. We have got a soft launch for the Tifo platform for the watch along against Palace this weekend. So we're adding some little things in this weekend. It's going to be a bit different, everyone. So make sure that you are tuned into that. The link is in the description. There is a link in the description for the latest prize on football prizes as well. Actually, in fact, just before you go, I'm going to just drop that. I'm going to drop that link right in to the live chat for you guys, just so you've got it. It is the Matthäus de Ligt signed framed shirt, fully authenticated and proper, courtesy of our partners Football Prizes. They are our sponsors and our partners here on Forever United TV. The link is there now. I'm just going to pin it up into the top of the chat. Get onto that to buy your ticket. You could also win a signed Marcus Rashford frame shirt in the same draw, and a signed, not framed, but signed Alejandro Garnacho shirt. So 3 first-team Manchester United players, signed shirts, fully authenticated. That is a draw this week. There are still tickets available for that. Get onto that link in the live chat now. Give yourselves a chance of winning one of these great prizes, courtesy of our sponsors and partners here on Forever United TV, that being Football Prizes. But that is the end of the show, everybody. There's plenty of football to watch. I'm actually going training tonight for a new team. Crazy at my age, I know. Lacing up the boots again, everybody. I'll let you all know in the morning how I feel about that. And if I'm sore, I'm sure I will be. But yeah, thank you, everybody, again. Super Chats and all of the new members, welcome. Thank you. 7 new members on this show alone tonight. Everyone who donated their memberships, thank you again. Mods and members, legends, great performance, as always. And we will see you first thing in the morning. Please give the video a like on the way out. Let's get as close to 300 as we possibly can. And make sure you hit that subscribe button as well, alongside the bell notification, to make sure you miss no Forever United TV content, of which is daily. Have a great evening, everybody. I'll see you in the morning.